Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Glenn Jones. I'm the Director of Public and Stakeholder Relations here at the Bermuda Tourism Authority. I'm with Mandy Ingham today. She is the mother of Mustafa Ingham, and Mustafa is the reason that all of us are here today. The Bermuda Tourism Authority, XL Catlin, the Volvo Ocean Race, and Turn the Tide on Plastic have teamed up in a partnership to make Mustafa the first apprentice in the Volvo Ocean Race. And for all of those people who don't completely understand sailing, of which I am one, it's a very, very big deal. There are 3 big sailing events in the world. One of them, as you know, is the America's Cup, which we hosted here this year. The other is the Olympics, and the third is the Volvo Ocean Race. So having Mustafa in this apprenticeship program is a truly great accomplishment, and that's part of what we want to do today, is to celebrate that accomplishment. You might remember Mustafa's name. He was a major part of Team BDA in the finals of the Red Bull Youth America's Cup here in Bermuda. He had a lot of support, as did the whole team from everyone here in Bermuda. So in many ways, this is a bold next step, but it's a natural next step. And you see some pictures here of Mustafa in Cape Town over the past couple of weeks before the race left there to head to Australia next, I believe. So on a day-to-day basis, what Mustafa is doing is he's working with the Shore team of the Turn the Tide on Plastic group. They are racing in the Volvo Ocean Race. And at the same time, he is getting his experience and credentials so that he could be one of those Volvo Ocean Race sailors. And I have to tell you, it's a lot of hard work. It's a lot of long hours, but Mustafa does seem to be up to the challenge. He has a ways to go to get there, but what we want to do today is sort of support him in that effort as well. There's also another Bermudian who's out there on the race course right now, actually, Emily Nagel. She was part of Team BDA in the early going, didn't ultimately race on the team because she left the team to join SoftBank Team Japan. But Emily is one of those people who does have the certifications that she needs, and she's out there racing with Azo Noble is the name of her team. So Mustafa hopes to really join her to be out there racing in the Volvo Ocean Race one day soon. So even if he doesn't, though, make it onto one of these race boats, I think it is true that his accomplishments up to date have been phenomenal for someone who didn't have a whole lot of sailing experience 2 or 3 years ago. To be out there with the professionals in one of the greatest sailing races in the world is truly an accomplishment. We have a video we're going to show you of what Mustafa is saying and doing out there around the world as part of the Volvo Ocean Race.
So I've joined the team Turn the Tide on Plastic in the Volvo Ocean Race as part of the Volvo Ocean Race Academy. Doing the slight apprenticeship, I'm working with the Shore team and getting to go out sailing with the guys every now and then. I just finished doing the Red Bull Youth America's Cup in Bermuda with Team BDA, and I decided I thought keep the ball rolling and get into this. This course is pretty much aimed to help people like myself without much like offshore sailing experience or sailing experience in general. So hopefully one day become a Volvo Ocean Race sailor and to get into offshore sailing in general. I want to thank Bermuda Tourism and XL Catlin for this amazing opportunity.
So there were 2 people here at the Bermuda Tourism Authority who really worked hard to make this a reality. One of them is Adam Barboza, who's here. He works a lot on nautical tourism, and Kevin Dallas. Along with the help that we got from XL Catlin, we were all able to come together to give Mustafa this incredible opportunity, which really he earned because of his record up to date. This also gives me the chance to tell a personal story about Mustafa. I was working with the Team BDA committee that helped to start Team BDA. And part of my responsibility was articulating to the community the opportunities in this event for people who weren't necessarily expert at sailing. And so we picked a couple of names out of the applicant pool. One of them was Preston Farrow. The other was Mustafa Ingham. And as I worked with these 2 young men to help tell the story about how they were getting involved in Team BDA, I had a little trouble getting Mustafa to all of the engagements. And it turns out it was because he was so busy doing other things. Either it was work related, or in one case it was bike repair related. So I got the impression that maybe he hadn't sensed the real opportunity that was happening there. So the next thing I found myself doing was knocking on the door at Mandy's home to talk to Mustafa. And I just sat down on the couch with him because I felt like he and I had so much in common. We both went to Berkeley, both raised by single mothers. And I think he got the message that I was trying to send to him. Now, I have to admit, when I was talking to him, I didn't know it was going to amount to everything that it has amounted to. But I think part of the reason we're so excited to support Mustafa in this effort is because it sends us signals to others in our community about what's possible. So that this has been very, very exciting. So he is truly a success story. That's one of the reasons we want to turn this excitement we saw for Team BDA this summer into a social media campaign where all of us are supporting Mustafa. So you'll see here on the next slide that we have a hashtag. It is with Mustafa BDA. What we're asking everybody to do on Twitter and Facebook and Instagram is to send messages of support to Mustafa as he's literally going around the world. I think probably leaving Cape Town now on his way to Australia. He'll be doing a bunch of certifications in between those two legs of the race. And we want to make sure that he knows the support that's rooting for him back here at home. So again, the hashtag is with Mustafa BDA. Now, the support that he and the rest of the team got from the community was very important to their success. They ultimately made it to the finals of the Red Bull Youth America's Cup. But each of them had a very strong family behind them as well. And that is definitely true for Mandy and the army of people she has around her. So I just wanted to turn the microphones over to you just to tell us a little bit about the experience over the last couple of years and what Mustafa has been saying about being in this Volvo Race Academy.
Thank you. Thanks, Ian. Over the last couple of years, it's just been life-changing. Every month evolving as well. As I look at the pictures, I constantly look back on the pictures of when he was first trying out with his number 7 on his thing on a piece of tape, and him sitting on the cycling, just trying out to see if he had what it took to actually enter this race. And I look at that picture and I look at the picture of who he is today, and I watched what I thought was a young man truly step into his manhood, and not just physically, but just spiritually, mentally. He has really upped his game, and it was just such a wonderful thing to see him step into his greatness, his future potential, and actually living his dreams. Very changing for our families, because it went from us seeing him all the time to hardly seeing him at all, and wondering how he was doing. And we would always check in the evenings anyway when he would come in from his work day or what have you. And then that became far and fewer. It was like literally, hi, how you doing? I'm tired, I'm hungry, go to sleep, and then rinse, lather, repeat for the next couple of days. But it's been a phenomenal experience. Still encouraging and inspiring even for myself and for those around us. He continues to inspire us. He just continues to try and take risks, and say yes when the opportunity arose. I'm glad that he said yes when you up and, came to the house. Because he could have easily said, okay, I'll, not now, I'm busy, I'm doing my mechanics course, I'm working around the clock, which was why it was so hard to kind of grab hold of him. But took it by the horns, and this is where we are today. But it was quite the journey going along. Couldn't have done it without the support of my family, my friends, my community. Everything just lined up for this to happen.
What has he told you about the Volvo Race Academy experience?
Just with regards to, I talked to him because all I know is a Team BDA experience. And to me, that was like life on 1,000 in terms of the rigorous up at 6, off to the gym, off to eat, off to strategize, off to the island to get the boat set up, to work all day, put the boat back to the house, dinner, strategize again, back to sleep. And then every day, that was on a constant. Definitely for the last year heading up to the actual event of America's Cup and the Red Bull Youth Classic. He has said, compared to that, now I thought that was like the pinnacle. He said this feels like Team BDA times 10 for him in terms of the level of what is expected of him. The constructive criticism is definitely on a different level. You have to be in it to win it. You have to be man enough to take it as well and learn and grow from it, you know. But he's thoroughly enjoying it. Very thankful for the opportunity, very appreciative of what Axel Catlin and BTA has formed and done for him, and all those who are rallying behind him. We can't do it without him.
All right,
Yeah.
thank you. So ultimately, with us, part of Mustafa's responsibility will be helping us by becoming an ambassador for the sport, especially for the sport in Bermuda. So we look forward to working with him on that. And we wish him well as he goes on this journey to ultimately become a professional sailor. I know one of the dreams he told me back when I was talking to him during the Team BDA days is that he hoped to be an America's Cup sailor one day. So where he is now is putting him on that journey. So we're very proud of him. All right, any questions?
Is it D-Y or I?
Why?
How old is your son?
Mustafa just turned 21 this year.
And he's show up, some arrangements been made there, or he's no more mechanics?
He's not following the mechanics field at this time. That's totally switched to, definitely,
So he sees this as a lifelong?
yes, to become a professional
What's
sailor.
the adjustment for you as a mom? Kids around every day now.
Yeah, this is goodness for the past 21 years. Even as a young man, with him doing for himself during the America's Cup, I was still trying to get in where I fit in terms of supporting him, and it came to a brief, a quick halt when the America's Cup ended. But the great thing was that he continued to train, so I was still kind of involved with him. He never kind of stopped the regimen of training. But when he left, that kind of left in September. And that's when they went to race in Chicago. And I had no idea he was due to go there for just like a week and a half, 2 weeks. And then told that he was heading to Portugal from there. So it was no preparation to just say, okay, how I would normally be involved. Like, you got everything, say your last goodbyes to your great farewell dinner, see your friends. It was just straight from there to Portugal.
So this Christmas a little different, eh?
Definitely, definitely. For us, Christmas has always meant family at the forefront for us. And he won't be here for that. He won't be here for a couple of occasions because he'll be going for quite some time, probably until mid next year, until we see him. Yes, he is.
Glenn, I hear what you're saying. Talk to me about this sponsorship is to the tune of, because it sounds pricey, guest and travel fare.
Yeah, you know, we'll have to get a number to you. There are many partners who are working on it together. So what we'll probably be able to get you is the amount that we've contributed to it. But in the end, you know, in many ways, this is, you know, an opportunity without a price tag, in a way. He is really getting, I don't know, the pathway to a dream becoming a reality. So it's always going to be difficult to put a price tag on that.
And this race is when?
So this race started in October of this year. It goes all the way until June of 2018. So they just left Cape Town, South Africa this past weekend. I believe Sydney is the next stop, but Hong Kong is on that list. This couple of, I think there's at least one stop in North America. So this is a very, very long process. That the race takes many months.
So something that started out as maybe, let me try this, has turned into traveling the world.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. And the young man I sat next to the couch that day was probably 50 pounds lighter and a lot less traveled. I mean, now he is, he's a brute, and he's been just about to every continent. It's amazing.
What's with me?
All right.
What's this bode for future opportunities for people in Bermuda?
I think it bodes well. I think, of course, pre-America's Cup, the demographics of sailing were very monolithic, and I think Team BDA helped change that. I mean, people of all races, men and women, are participating in the sport now. So I think it's opened up in a tremendous way. I know Turn the Tide on Plastic is 50% male, 50% female. So that in itself is a tremendous accomplishment. So I think the more we get more parts of our community interested in the sport, whether participating themselves or supporting people like Mustafa, it actually helps us do our job, because sailing tourism is a big part of what we think the future can be. And if the community is built in, sort of bought into the sport, we think it can make the sport so much more exciting as a race course.
So you see this as a direct link, perhaps, say, from Endeavor to moving up? Because I know Batman Thomas's son, can't call his name, did
Yeah,
well.
no, you're absolutely right. I think that is the benefit of the Endeavor program, and also making sure we fulfill our responsibility to build on the legacy of America's Cup. Team BDA was great, but it doesn't really mean anything if we don't leverage it into something else. And this is really about leveraging it to something else.
So I know in the report they did on America's Cup, they said that Endeavor was being picked up by private sponsorship until next year. Any update on after that?
I don't know the answer to after that, but just based on your question, I wanted to point out Endeavor has always been 100% privately funded, and the same is true for Team BDA, and now the same is true actually for this project as well. So we've been able to find a lane where private sector funds are really powering these programs, and I think that puts us in a really strong position to see them continue in the future. All right. Thanks very much, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you.